and welcome to Ignite Insights. I am Kaylee Carter, and today we're turning the spotlight on the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry's 2025 Business Development Forum, which this year is being held under the theme Empowering Businesses for a Resilient Future. Joining me to share more about the vision behind this year's event is GCCI President Ms. Kathy Smith. Ms. Smith, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
This year's Business Development Forum carries a distinct theme. What inspired it, and how does it align with the Chamber's broader goal and vision for 2025?
The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry have been doing this forum since 2018. We have realized that there is a need for businesses to understand that is small businesses because they are our target. We're going after the micro, medium, small enterprises. We want them to understand how to do business in Guyana. And that is from the basic, from registration, from incorporation, being compliant, the different agencies that they have to go to be compliant. So when we started initially in 2018, that was somewhat the theme and the sense around the Business Development Forum, having the right agencies, the right private sector partner in the room. But it has grown over the year. And what we plan to do this year is to let our businesses move their thinking, their operation, not physically, of course, but in some sense move it from the place of there is opportunity to figuring out how I can capitalize on those opportunities. So we want them to think a little bit more bigger, a little bit more bolder in doing business. So we're hoping that they can focus nationally, because sometimes small businesses can be focusing only in the areas that they're operating. But we want them to start to think about the entire Guyana, the 10 administrative region. How can I move myself from region 3 to region 4 and so on? We want them to even start to think regionally, because there's a lot of policy that is being put in place intentionally by our government. The private sector is pushing for certain new areas to ensure that there's a working relationship between Guyana and the various Caribbean countries, and we want the small businesses to benefit. And of course, globally, because we have seen in recent years, the major investors happens to be from North America, European market. So we want our small businesses to start thinking, you know what, yes, I've started this in this level, I am this in terms of revenue, but the opportunity that our country is facing, and that is why we choose the topic, empowering businesses for a resilient future. And that was quite easy for us to come up with, because Guyana unprecedented growth has helped us to come up with that topic. Our growth in Guyana is very rapid. There is a high need for resources in all different areas. So we want small businesses to understand that, you know what, that you now got to keep up with the pace of this growing economy, because I think small businesses will be the winner of the growth and development of this economy. And the reason why I believe that, there have been a lot of advocacy work by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry over the years, and many other business support organizations. And those advocacy have been calling for small businesses to be in the room, but not just to be in the room, but to be competently standing in the room, having all their compliances, having all their support in terms of finances, their structures, and so on. So I feel the government was listening, they have responded. International partners, as they've been responding to us, even the diplomatic community. There's a lot of relationship between the diplomatic community and organization and even individual businesses. So I think there is somewhat a bias towards the small businesses in Guyana, and it's good for us. It's good for us because majority of businesses are business owner rather are kind of lingering in that area because it's comfortable for them. They get opportunity to do business while taking care of family and other areas.
I definitely see the alignment with the goal there. You're giving these small businesses an opportunity to be heard in a sense.
Yeah.
So my next question is, From GCCI's perspective, what policy changes and partnerships or even government collaborations are most needed to strengthen local business competitiveness? And how does the Chamber ensure private sector voices influence national development policies?
Excellent question. As I mentioned, we have been doing this for 135 years, advocating on behalf of businesses, being the only organization that was enacted through an act of parliament. We take it very seriously. The GCCI, we have been initially focusing on micro issues, issues that affect our members. But because of where the country is growing, there's an opportunity for us to focus on macro issues. So those issues, those that are affecting policy changes, that are affecting, the national development of our country and where our businesses are being impacted. So we've been working heavily with the government of the day, because being 135 years, we have seen a lot of government. We have always been working with their agency, all of their agency, to ensure that whatever concern, whatever issue, whatever is needed for growth and development of our businesses, they can hear. So what GCCI was successful in doing, we have 14 committees. These committees, we kind of mirror the work of what some of the government ministries and the agencies have been doing, so that we can align it comfortably with what is needed from the members of GCCI. So those committees meet every month and they have conversation. For example, we have the Petroleum Committee. The Petroleum Committee meets every month. The Petroleum Committee would talk about local content, what is happening in the local oil and gas sector, what sort of business opportunities are opening. So when those topics are being discussed, members might say, well, we need some support here, or we have started to do this. How can we get into the room? How can we be supported? We have a green and tourism committee. That committee now is aligning comfortably with small businesses in Guyana who are tourism oriented, to see how the private sector can inject money if needed. Because something that has been really successful in Guyana right now, it's partnership. Mm-hmm. A lot of international partnership, but also we see a lot of local partnership that are happening, and they're coming out very successful. So we want to mirror tourism, mirror the idea of a green economy together, and the GCCI was very successful in doing that. So we are ensuring that we listen to every member, because being the largest chamber, we have close to 1,000 members. How do we pay attention to each member? How do we pay attention to their needs, their growth? How can we capitalize that? And there is where the committees play an important role. So once there's an issue, that issue at the chamber would not go unnoticed, because it would be mentioned at some one of the committees. So we are ensuring that we are there at the forefront, because members trust us, they invest in us. They have been sticking by our side. We have been growing tremendously. So we want to ensure that we surface them. We provide a service to them. We celebrate them in everything that they're doing, and we are at the forefront of that.
Okay, thank you. And innovation is reshaping how businesses operate. How is GCCI supporting entrepreneurship in digital transformation, sustainability, and inclusive growth, including greater participation of women and youth in business?
So every opportunity that the GCCI have a secretariat, and that secretariat was there from 8 to 5, sometimes 8 to 7 and beyond, ensures that they monitor everything that is happening. Recently, we were able to partner with the Chinese government, who would have offered some opportunity for our members to travel to China. There are some right now in China. A few came back about 2 weeks ago, and another bunch came back before then, and so on. So the Chinese government offered us a program in fintech, right? So we were able to send members who are in that area like Brava, who's a member of the GCCI, and they were able to capitalize on those opportunities. As it relates to sustainability, green economy, we have seen women that are championing that. Recently, I think we got like about 3 new members, and they're women who joined the chamber that is in that area. They're providing support in terms of the sustainability of the environment through the oil and gas sector. And they are working to see how they can ensure that they play their part to make Guyana better while we develop and grow the oil and gas sector. So women, I have sensed they're turning up a little bit more. Even though you can sense that there are more men in business than women, but I believe because of the intentional plans by the government of Guyana, by the private sector like Exxon and Steel One contractors, it's easy for women to turn up and show up because they're making it a bit easy for them.
Okay, and my final question. You mentioned our economy is fastly growing, and this is something we know. It's a fact. So, as our economy continues to expand, what's next for GCCI in terms of maybe new initiatives, potential diaspora partnerships, and long-term plans to help entrepreneurs seize emerging opportunities?
Yeah, so there's so much that the GCCI is doing, and let me just touch on it a little bit. Our economy, of course, is growing. The diaspora have been reaching out to us to ask, how can we invest? Some want to come back, some don't want to come back. So what we have is planning, so the GCCI with a delegation will be traveling from mid-November to Canada, where we're going to meet with our diaspora. From Canada, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., where we want to engage those large financial institutions like the US Exim Bank, IDB, the World Bank, to actually let them know that we just don't need financing for small projects. We are capable, we are competent. We have been looking at the international expertise that came to our country. We have been learning from them. So we are now in a position where we can do large projects. From there, we want to go to New York. And when we get there, we want to touch with our diaspora in Queens and Brooklyn to say to them, listen, these are the businesses that are, some of the businesses that are operating in Guyana. This is the area. Do you want to invest, or do you want to partner with these businesses? So we want to ensure that they're doing that. Recently, the GCCI would have partnered with Minister of India through our ministry. And one of the important things, at least for me, as the president of the GCCI, I am also a business owner. I also hire women and men who have their children. So Minister of India and I would have pulled together a public-private partnership where we're trying to piggyback on our recent development of the Day and Night Care Childhood Development Center, where we want to ask private sector organizations to set up those centers in your business. It's easy for them. A lot of them have that room that is cluttered with old furniture, with an old computer, desk, whatever is in there. We're encouraging them to remove that and just get a space, a beautiful space, because what we know that those parents with young children, they're concerned that, daycare are going to wrap at 4, I have to go pick up the babies. But if that organization can say you don't have to rush, we can even assist you by getting a company driver to take you to the daycare, pick up your baby, and you can bring back your baby here. I can tell you businesses, large businesses, small businesses, they will definitely give you an extra hour or 2. So we want to cooperate on that. GCCI itself, apart from our Business Development Forum, which will be held on November 13th and 14th, we will be having a cancer awareness which will be held on the 30th of October. That cancer awareness seminar or session is in celebration of the women at the GCCI who would have faced the battle of cancer, and some of them, of course, would have lost their life. So it's celebrating it's named in the Dean Gilbert Rambaran session, and also we are focusing on other women. We also, at the end of this month, will be opening the first in Guyana, I should let you know, Micro Women Entrepreneur Center. It's a partnership that we would have developed with an organization out of Canada. That center would be focusing on agro-processing, particularly women in agro-processing, and we will be there to assist women to push them from just planting and reaping and selling to get their produce on market, get them to understand standards, various standards, to enter different countries, and to get them to understand packaging, marketing, how they can understand their financing and those sort of things. So there's a lot that we are doing at the Chamber. But if I may, just talk a little bit about the Business Development Forum before we go. So it's on the 13th and the 14th of October. We have 5 keynote speakers. Each speaker would speak on a topic, and under that topic we will have 4 presenters who will transition themselves into a panel discussion where members would have the opportunity to ask some question. The first day, which is the 13th, would commence at 1 p.m. And after we have about 2 keynote speakers, 1 presentation on that day, 1 panel rather on that day, and we have the rest for the following day, which starts at 9 a.m., we would have a mixer. And that cocktail mixer, it's an opportunity for small businesses to meet large businesses, their fellow small business colleagues, to meet international partners, to meet government officials, and they can do business-to-business support. We have decided this year that we want the small businesses in the room. So we have decided that our entrance fee for 2 days is just $10,000. You can get that in Guyana for various conferences, so $10,000 is not a lot, and it's a lot of opportunity. It's a lot of opportunity for small businesses. So we want you in the room. We want you in the space. A lot of small business owners have been saying to me, Cathy, I'm seeing a lot of things are happening in Guyana. How can I be part of it? But I want to encourage you that you have to be in the space. And we are creating a space for you for the next 2 days at the Pegasus Hotel and the corporate suite, that would be corporate center. And you can be there on the 13th and enjoy the vast information that will be presented to you. You can come, you can network, and we are looking forward to seeing you there. Right? So Business Development Forum is something that we will continue to do. We'll continue to play a part as an advocacy organization in Guyana while we support the growth and development of small businesses.
Okay, and before you go, I know you said that was my last question, but what tangible outcomes do you hope to see from this year's forum? More along the lines of new collaborations, investment deals, or policy recommendations. And should these outcomes happen, how will GCCI follow up to ensure that these ideas are turned into action?
Well, after every activity, the GCCI always send out a survey. Our survey is for participants to say to us, you got it right or you didn't get it right. This is the area that you need to develop on, or I just want to commend you on this area. They can make suggestions, and we welcome that, because we don't think that we will grow if our members and non-members doesn't say to us, this is what you need to do. What we are hoping, Guyanese have become very comfortable, the private sector has become very comfortable in traveling to find partners. We are saying that the partners are right here in Guyana. They are right here in Guyana, and you can find them, but you have to be in the space. To make it a bit more easier for the small businesses, many of you small business owners, you are reading the news, you are listening to the television stations. You have heard His Excellency have mentioned that he wants to work with the private sector. He has started to do that. At the GCCI, we have indicated exactly how he wants to do that. We have stated the areas of opportunity that he wants to give the private sector. So this is the opportune time for you to start asking the various business support organizations. For those of you in Region 3, the Region 3 chambers being represented, Region 5, Georgetown Chamber, you just start asking those business support organizations, how is it that we can benefit from the opportunity that the government of Guyana is putting out there? Because the opportunity, and this is something, and this is where advocacy is important, and we have been doing it for so long, and we always say to people in business, if you want to do business, if you want to sell beyond your family, you need to find your peers. And to find your peers, you have to find them at the business support organization like the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is an organization, majority of our membership are micro, small, medium-sized enterprises. It's a basic subscription fee per year. You pay, it's less than $100 to be a member of the chamber. That fee covers an entire year. So there's so much opportunity, and that room on the 13th and the 14th is, we're going to talk about that. We're going to let them know that, listen, there's support for you. The government is saying this is what is going to happen, this is where they want you to invest, and we're going to hold your hands to ensure that you figure out how to do it. If you need partners, we can direct you towards partners. If you need financing, we can direct you towards the banks, because all of the banks in Guyana are members of the GCCI. And some of those banks representatives will be in the room on the 13th and the 14th. So we want to ensure that Guyanese businesses get the opportunity, because what we know, that one business owner from one household, imagine how that benefit is able to trickle down to children, spouses, extended family, and those sort of things. So we as a private sector, we're playing our part. All the small businesses, if you can get yourself in spaces, figure out how you can be part of the growth and development of this country, and not just you and your team at the office would benefit, but also your family members would benefit. And that's what we need. We want what is happening in Guyana is for Guyana. We want that to happen.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy. That was Ms. Kathy Spit, President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, speaking about the upcoming Business Development Forum 2025 and the Chamber's roles in strengthening partnerships between policy and practice. The forum promises to be a space for meaningful dialogue and action, bringing ideas with implementation as Guyana's private sector continues to expand. You've been watching Ignite Insights. I am Kaylee Carter, and thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more conversations.